Okay, hi everybody. I'm going to do a walkthrough of cleaning the intercooler on a 300 or a 310. I've had my intercooler out twice. I've got 34 hours on the ski. Once at 15 hours, once at about 29. I don't think you need to pull it out that often. Probably when you're approaching 50 hours, that's when I would pull it out. Say I pulled it out at 30, I'll do it at 80. That'll be the next time. So anyways, a few precautions. What I do is I put lots of towels on top of the motor. You see, I don't want to drop anything. I'm not working on the engine, we'll call it. I'm not working on that, so there's no reason for me to have that exposed. I've taken the back seat mount off. As you can see, there's four. I've had this off many times. This seat mount here goes here. There it is there on the ground. There's four 10mm bolts. It's not hard to get off, but you need it off. And of course, if you're brand new to this ski, this is the intercooler. And that's what we're going to take out. I'm not physically going to take it out, but I'm going to walk you through it. And I think by the end of it, it'll take about 15 minutes to go through the procedure. You know how to get it out, how to clean it, how to put it back in. It's not too difficult, but if you haven't done one before, I think this will make it a lot easier. I always have good lighting. I've even got a light on my forehead and some tools you'll need. A long extension to get at the bolts on the intercooler, and some general tools here. I recommend that you take some pictures of the area. Take lots of pictures of your hose routing, where things are, etc., so you know how to put things back. I also mark all the hoses with masking tape, even though I've done it twice. Like I'll number it, number hose number 1, 2, 3. There's another hose on the bottom. This is called the catch can. On the bottom of the catch can, I'll mark that number 4. Heck, I'll even mark that number 5, that supercharger hose going into the intercooler. These hoses coming out. I'll mark all the hoses so I know where they're going, and so there's no mistake. So, and I use a felt pen. I use some masking tape and a felt pen to mark everything. Another thing you might want to do is cover this whole side of the ski, the whole side here, with blankets, towels. I'm not going to do it right now because I'm not actually taking it out. But you don't want to mark up your ski. You got a nice ski. You just want to get that intercooler out without damaging stuff. So the other thing, okay, so first thing, thanks Corey for this tip. This hose clamp here, when you put this back on, you see how I have it in a downward position? If this is on the top, what will happen is it'll scratch and rub. Let's see if we can get some light. Hang on. It'll scratch on the bottom of this tray here, and it can actually break the hose clamp. I guess it's happened before. Anyways, tip from Corey in Australia. So, okay, so first thing that you need to do is take out the catch can. You might have a different style, might be a round one. Same thing, mark all the hoses. Undo these, I believe they're 10mm bolts here. 1, 2. Like I said, mark all your hoses. Take off this hose here, the hose on the bottom of the catch can. That's a little tricky. You got to lift up the catch can, pull that hose off. There's clips on it, like these clips here. So get this catch can out, and then get that off to the side. And now, on the front of the intercooler, when this catch can is out, there's going to be a hose. See if we can get a good shot. Readjust my light. This hose, this is your water box, right? This is your exhaust manifold, so you know where you are. Follow that down, right? there's your water box. This hose here, where I have my screwdriver on, you see that? That hose goes around to the front of the intercooler. You can't see it right now because the catch can's on. You'll take this hose off the front of the intercooler, undo the hose clamp, trace that around to the front of the intercooler. In this area, undo that hose. I believe this catch can's on, I forget. There's one bolt holding the front down, probably two, I just forget, sorry. You undo those bolts, they're probably 10 millimeters, okay? Do those. Then what I would do is your catch can's off. You've undone that hose that we just talked about that's on the front of the intercooler here, okay? Undo this hose here from your supercharger going into your intercooler. Push your hose clamp back, maybe tighten your clamp a little bit back here and just leave it there. We'll get turned around here so we can get some good views. Okay. So you've taken the red one off. Again, I mark everything. You see all these marks? That's a felt pen. See how I marked my clamp there? So I know where everything lines up. I can't make a mistake. And if you look at this hose, same thing again. Obviously I moved the clamp a bit, but I marked everything. Anyways, take off this hose. Take off the bottom hose, right? Take off this hose. This is just a bypass hose. It's not under pressure. Not really. But these are. You want to make sure when you put these back on, they're tight, this hose. Let me get my screwdriver, guys. These two hoses come off, right? Then there's an electrical connection here. I guess it's a sensor. You see where we're at, our location. I'll just wiggle it. That just pulls out. You push in a tab and pull it out. And when I put it back together, you see I slapped some synthetic grease on the outside. So this wire will come out with your intercooler. So what I did with that wire is I taped it up here. I think I ran it up here and I put some tape on it, you know, to hold it in position when I pulled out my intercooler. I used some tape like that vinyl tape over there. So you unplug this connection, right? Tape this wire up here because that's all coming out. So this hose is disconnected. This hose is disconnected. The catch can's off. The front bolts on the intercooler, if there's two, I forget. I think it might just be one, but you'll see it when you take this off. That bolt is undone on the front of the intercooler. That hose going to the front of the intercooler that we talked about. Oops. That goes that way around to the front of the intercooler. That's undone. Okay. So what else are we doing? Okay, so that's off, that's off. Come to the back. If you look down in here, there's a couple, you'll see again, you look down there, you see where this is a hold down clamp. It's my understanding that you don't have to undo this bolt and the one beside it. Let's get a shot through here. There's the other one. I'll just kind of point in the general direction. So there's blue marks on those bolts. I think they're 10 millimeter. I undo them both and I take this clamp off. This clamp. We'll call this the back of the intercooler. This clamp just sits in a groove there and it holds, if you look at it closely, it holds the intercooler in position. Okay, but I marked it with a felt marker again, as you can see, so I know where I'm at. So the front bolts are out of the intercooler, or bolt. Sorry, I forget. The back bolts are out. Then, this hose clamp, it'll be a little tough for me to get in this position. This hose, there's a hose coming off this part of the intercooler. Let's see if we can get a shot here for you guys. Anyways, we'll go back here. This first hose that I'm pointing at, you see there, undo that clamp. You can reach in there with a small screwdriver, undo that clamp, and this hose will, let's see how wiggle it, see if we can see it. This hose that I just pointed to comes around to the front of the intercooler. See if we can get some light on that. It's tough to get these angles. It's not so good. So anyways, that hose comes to the front or the side of the intercooler, and it goes in here. Okay, it goes, there you are, you see it there. Just leave that part on. See, I marked it with some blue tape there. Take that, when you pull the intercooler out of the ski, leave that attached, okay? You'll just disconnect it from the back, where I just pointed to. This first one, okay? If you grab that hose and trace it around, you'll trace it around to where I just pointed, where I have blue tape on, okay? It's fairly basic. Let me get some of this stuff out of here. Now, what I do, that intercooler comes out, but it's tight, okay? So what I do is, the first thing I undo is, I've already undone these clamps. I push the intercooler that way a little bit. Well, as far as I can. It'll touch the water box over there. Over there. As I push the intercooler that way, and I pry this hose off, and I pry this hose off, and I kind of push the intercooler at the same time towards the back, and it will release this top hose and this bottom hose. See if we can get some shots. So this hose will be off, this hose will be off. The intercooler will probably be, instead of being here, it'll be back about here, okay? Then the rest is easy. Push the intercooler. You want to detach this hose, obviously. Push the intercooler that way. This hose will be released from the intercooler. So the intercooler will be sitting in the back now. Now the tricky part. You may, remember your catch can's out of here. This red hose is off. All these hoses are off. I may have missed something. You've taken this hose off as well, off your blow-off valve, we call this. It's off to the side. Keep all your hose clamps. Either put your hose clamps back and tighten them a bit, or take them right out of the ski, whatever you want. So your intercooler bolts are undone at the back, the front. The hose, that first hose on the left, is undone. This hose coming to the front of the intercooler is undone at the front of the intercooler, okay? Catch can's off. You could put a bit of tape here to avoid doing what I've done. See, I've scratched it a bit. You never see it, but now at this stage, you're going to physically grab the intercooler from this side with one hand and this side with a hand, and you're going to bring it out. You're going to bring it up out of this area and sit it off to the side. I recommend you have some rags, blankets, just to sit it on until you jump off the ski, and then pull the intercooler off, okay? So at this stage, go have a coffee, go have a beer, do whatever you want to do. Be in a relaxed mood, because when you go to bring this intercooler out of the ski, it's tight. It comes out. You got to angle it, twist it, turn it. I don't have an exact technique off the top of my head. I've gotten it out twice without smashing up stuff, but boy, it's a tight fit. I can tell you, you can angle up a bit, you can turn it this way a bit. You'll get it out. You have the room, it's tight, but you'll get it out. But take your time, be patient. Get the intercooler out, set it off to the side. Now we're going to clean it. What I do is, we'll have to go back here, is what I will do first is, the intercooler will be out of the ski. I will wrap a heavy plastic bag around this out.